So here's the deal. A Pennsylvania county. I want to stall for a second because when I say this to you, your brain's going to be like, zzz, zzz. That was a malfunction, by the way. That was the sound effect of a malfunction. A Pennsylvania county that was pressured by election deniers, this was pushed for by election deniers, has done another recount of the 2020 election in that county. And I know what you're thinking. Luke, you misspoke. You meant to say 2022 election, which still would be like, okay, let's get the 2022 election over with. No. The 2020, 2020, the one that Trump tried to overturn and stay president, all that. You remember the coup and all that? It was crazy. That's what we're talking about. The New York Times has a piece, driven by election deniers, this county recounted 2020 votes last week. And this is Lycoming County, Lycoming County. And let me quickly say, the results of this were stunning. It was the same. You'll never believe it. It was like a tiny little few votes difference in either direction, and it meant nothing. Anytime you recount thousands of votes, it'll be like tiny little budges, but no widespread voter fraud that they were looking for, and obviously didn't change the results. And this Lycoming County, an interesting part about it is they are a red county that Trump won. So they're saying there was voter fraud in our county that made Trump, I guess, win by not as much as he could have. Very, very strange. Let's read a little bit more about this. On the 797th day after the defeat of former President Donald J. Trump, a rural Pennsylvania county on Monday began a recount of ballots from Election Day 2020. Under pressure from conspiracy theorists and election deniers, 28 employees of Lycoming County counted by hand nearly 60,000 ballots. It took 3 days and an estimated 560 work hours, as the vote counters ticked through paper ballots at long rows of tables in the county election department in Williamsport, a place used to a different sort of nail-biter as the home of the Little League World Series. The results of Lycoming County's hand recount, like earlier recounts of the 2020 election in Wisconsin, Georgia, and Arizona, revealed no evidence of fraud. The numbers reported more than 2 years ago were nearly identical to the numbers reported on Thursday. So apparently they've just kept these ballots sitting there, ready to get recounted. They did it, and the numbers were nearly identical. Now, this goes on to explain how, for example, one woman who's literally named Karen said, quote, and she was one of the election deniers, "This is just one piece of the puzzle. We're not done." Not able to accept, and I'm saying literally someone named Karen, not using that in an insulting way. Karen is getting angry that this didn't go the way that she'd expected. I presume, that's my assumption, because she's saying, we're not done. And what happens each step of the way with these types of situations is you always move the goalposts, right? You say, if we just have questions, answer our questions. If we could just get a recount of our county, we would be able to show you, the people of Pennsylvania, the American people, the world, the horrible voter fraud that took place. If you could just let us do a hand recount. And then it happens. And we've seen a number of recounts done in all these different states that were contested. And then the results come out. In Arizona, Biden ended up winning by more after the recount was done. And in this situation in Lycoming County, the response is, we're not done. There's so much more. This is one piece of the puzzle. We got some information out of it. Like what? And now we're going to move on to the next step. And maybe come 2035, we will be able to show you that there were 2 cases of voter fraud. Oh my goodness. Anyways, it's just wild to me that no one in this block of individuals who is pushing for this still over 2 years later will learn the lesson. We could literally have you sit and somehow, by a genie wish out of a bottle, by rubbing it, however genie bottles work, we would get every single one of the American voters to vote right in front of you, and then you hold the ballots, a big old stack of them, and you count every single one. And still, if Trump lost, you would be like, well, probably whenever I took my nap, someone snuck in and did big, massive dumps of ballots into the place, and then it all got messed up, and we didn't do another recount. It needs to be a forensic recount and a hand recount, a foot recount, and I might have to get my mouth on it to really see if this is a legitimate recount. You can see I'm having fun with this just because it's absurd, and this makes me sad. And I can either choose to be sad or start laughing about it. So I'm gonna laugh about it, but the seriousness of it is people are detached from reality, and they wanna believe so badly that Trump didn't lose that they'll 2+ years later be doing recounts and still have the response as Karen did, we're not done. This is just one piece of the puzzle. Very concerning. Luke P. Beasley on Twitter. Let me know what you think.